Do you ever feel like you're knocking on a door that never opens? You try to reach out to your loved one, but they don't respond, or when they do, it feels distant or flat. They stay in the room, and you're left wondering, what am I doing wrong? How do I reach them? If that sounds like you, you're not alone. And today, we're gonna go over a simple and surprisingly effective way of re-engaging. Hi, I'm Dr. Brinen, and on this channel, I like to provide simple, effective, and evidence-based approaches to reconnecting with loved ones and individuals that you serve. Everything here is about one thing: helping people to reconnect to themselves, to others, to the individuals they serve, and mostly to a meaningful life. One of the most difficult things families say to me all the time is, it's like they're completely gone, like they're disconnected. It's like they're completely cut off from us. Your loved one might isolate in their room, or barely respond, or not respond at all. And understandably, this creates a ton of anxiety. When somebody you love backs away like that, all you want to do is break through and connect with them. Sometimes it's kind of vague check-ins. Hey, how are you? Other times, it's more treatment-focused things. How are you feeling? Are the meds working? Do you need me to call the doctor? But here's the tricky part. That first approach, how are you, often doesn't have enough emotional pull. It can't cut through that isolation and remind that loved one of your unique relationship. It doesn't have enough oomph. The second approach can actually make things harder. Even when it comes from a place of love, it can feel controlling or threatening, especially if your individual doesn't believe that there's a problem in the first place. So instead of connection, it creates more distance. But here's a key point. Right now, the problem isn't symptoms. It isn't treatment. The problem is disconnection. So the first goal, it isn't insight, it isn't compliance, it isn't a deep heart-to-heart conversation, it's engagement. The first goal is connection. And that's where this technique comes in. I call it the ring and run approach. Depending on where you grew up in the country, you may have called it ding dong ditch, but it definitely comes from a naughty childhood. Stay with me. Do you remember when you were younger, you'd run up to somebody's doorbell, ring it, and then run away? It's okay, we're all friends now, you can be honest. You'd get their attention, but you didn't wait. You didn't stand there just staring at the door. You rang and you ran. The magic part was this: there was no pressure on the person inside to react in a certain way. That's exactly the idea here. Instead of walking up to your loved one, inviting them to do something fun and then just waiting there, you do this instead. Choose an activity that has a really strong pull. Something loud, interesting, good smelling. A favorite TV show, music, going for a walk, baking something, cooking, especially if it smells amazing. The goal is to blast through that wall, not whisper through it. Make the invitation, then walk away. Hey, I'm starting a movie in the living room if you want to join. Oh, I was gonna bake our favorite cookies. Want you help? Hey, I was gonna go for a walk, get some steps in. Let's do it. And then you leave. No waiting, no hovering, no nudging. You just ding, dong, ditch. When you walk away, a few important things happen. 1, you reduce the pressure. 2, you're no longer waiting to be turned down. 3, your loved one can approach on their own terms. And if the activity is engaging enough, loud enough, good smelling enough, interesting enough, your loved one might wander out on their own. If they do, don't make a big deal. Just hand them a spoon, ask them to start stirring, and turn up the music. No, I'm glad you came out. No analyzing, no questioning. Just act like this happens all the time. A few critical guidelines. You may have to do this many, many times. So don't give up after the first no. Use different activities. Check out which ones hit. And the most important thing of all, no switching to treatment talk. If the invitation turns into a symptom check, they're never going to trust these invitations. With consistent ring and runs, some important things start to happen. Your loved one starts to engage in activities again. They start associating you with who you've always been, not a person worrying, Not just treatment, not just illness, you. And slowly those connections have room to grow, and they might start searching them out more. If this approach made sense to you and resonates, and you want more tools like this, try checking out my book, Living Well with Psychosis. It's a practical guide to getting back to the life the individual wants. It's available anywhere you can buy books. And please, if you've already read it, leave a thoughtful review on Amazon. We really want to get the word out there. It's grounded in recovery-oriented cognitive therapy, focused on rebuilding connection, hope, and recovery. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what's one small ring and run that you did, and how did it go? When you subscribe, it helps build our community, and you never miss out on the next video. And remember, sometimes the most important way to reconnect is to ring that bell and then walk away. Until next time, check out this playlist and be well.